On November 30th of 2022, the world changed forever. Artificial intelligence, or AI, became accessible to the public for free through a tool called ChatGPT.
ChatGPT,
which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer.
A robot you can talk to.
That you can log on to and have a conversation with.
And it went from 0 to 1 million users in 5 days, which is the fastest any platform has gotten to 1 million users. It took Facebook 2 years, it took Instagram 2 years, it took Pinterest 4 months, and it took Angry Birds 35 days. I think that it has the potential to unravel the very fabric of capitalism itself and what it means for us as individuals. And a little bit later in the video, I'm going to tell you how you can capitalize on this to 10x how much you make, rather than being afraid of it in the short term and curling up in a ball and putting your head in the sand and like hoping it goes away. It's here and it's only going to get more dangerous and powerful.
So Hormozi released this video 2 years or so ago, and I thought it would be a great idea to kind of like react to some of the concepts and insights that he's going to be sharing based on some of the data and some of our own insights at clientacquisition.io, especially that we're now kind of like going deep into AI and trying to build and release a lot of growth solutions, whether that be internally or with our partners into different markets, local businesses, online service businesses, all that good stuff. So keep watching this. This is coming from someone who's generated, over 8 figures in the last 2.5 years from building and releasing growth solutions and helping companies scale. So I think this will be one of the best insights. And one of the things that I want to do in this video is not necessarily react to all the 5 points that he's going to be sharing. So I'm going to be going through this video and finding different things that I want to kind of like rehash or reshare my own framing around them. So you're going to be getting what he shares and what he talks about, and you're also going to be getting my own perspective. So check it out if you are interested in either making money selling AI, or if you want to know what to implement in your business to scale leveraging AI. Okay, so let's get into it.
Equivalent, in my opinion, of the moon landing, except the only difference is that it will actually change all of our lives rather than just ours, and we can invest in your business and help you scale beyond that. So in order for us to productively talk about AI, we have to understand what the terms we're actually talking about are. AI is a type of technology that helps machines or computers do things that normally need a human brain to do. Stuff like learning, solving problems, making decisions, and understanding what we see or hear. The thing that made the release on November 30th so wild is that ChatGPT democratized access to AI for the first time because it had an interface that we could all use, chat.
So it is important for me to kind of like reframe this. When I talk about democratization, I don't necessarily talk from the lens of democratizing AI, because a lot of us, if we're not software engineers, we don't have the technical insights or point of view to, when someone mentions the word AI, you literally can't necessarily think of how the back end works. Therefore, you don't really understand all the intricacies of AI. So for me, when I'm thinking about AI, to simplify everything in my mind, I think of it as democratizing access to expertise, okay? So let's use an example. Humans, to acquire knowledge, have to go to school, kindergarten, daycare, high school, primary school, college, and then university, and then you have to go on to these degrees and acquire masters to acquire great depth of knowledge in specific fields. What AI does is, at least these large language models, what they did is they scraped the entire internet of information and knowledge and put it in our hands. All you have to be able to do is be able to come up with questions and know what you're looking for. And that's my way of kind of like, I would say, democratize expertise and knowledge versus democratizing AI, because I don't know what AI is per se. And he ends up talking about this idea of put it in a format that we can all use, which is chat. Kind of like, especially people who are coders or people who are software engineers, one of the things that they like to look at is essentially AI has given us, or at least OpenAI with their chat interface, they've given us the ability to be able to code by using language. So what you have to understand is, it's not just that they've put together information and giving it access to everyone as long as you have internet and you can access ChatGPT or all these other large language models, but it has also given you the ability to speak a language to be able to build almost anything or ask anything. Because it's not just about asking questions to get answers, but you can also code and build things through language. And that's really sick.
They created a massive language model that allowed it to understand our prompts and queries and be able to translate that into machine speak, get the answer, and then retranslate it back to us in human speak. That is what made it so powerful, because now all of us can use it. Right now, ChatGPT spits out words, sentences, paragraphs, articles, and even entire books. It can write legal documents, it can write sales scripts, it can write video scripts. The list is literally endless. I asked it the other day to write a cold email to a plumbing company for marketing SEO services, and it spit it out. And then I said, cool, make it funnier and shorter. Spit out another version. And I said, great, turn it into a text message. Did it. Turn it into a tweet storm. Did it. It's difficult to comprehend the extent of it because it's only really limited by our ability to ask the right questions, which I'll get to later because it's going to be very important in terms of how you choose to use AI.
This is one of the most important insight, and even if it gets onto it later, I want to kind of like cover it right now. A lot of the time, even though I just say it democratized access to knowledge, it is important to understand that I think there is this quote that goes around that to know how to use something, you have to have the knowledge to what extent you can manage it. So as an example, someone who's a F1 driver probably knows physics and the limits of a car more than, let's say I have a Porsche GT3. Me, the way that I drive it is not the same way that a Formula 1 driver could drive my car. So it works the same way. Just because you can drive, just because you can speak English, or just because you have some form basic knowledge of marketing, sales, copywriting, building, operating a business, does not mean that you can use these solutions to their greatest potential, because you yourself are limited in knowledge. And this is the weird thing. Just because you're having access to all the knowledge in the world doesn't mean that you should be dumb. Because if you're dumb, it's like 0 times $1 million is 0. Being dumb times ChatGPT or AI is still kind of like a little dumb, but you get an edge because you're AI dumb. I'm joking, this is just jokes, but hopefully that makes sense. For sure, keep learning as much as possible. You cannot just think that AI is going to save your life. You have access to all the knowledge. No, you have to know a lot to be able to get from it a lot, okay?
Words as the output, but we understand other things. We can interpret images, we can interpret videos, and we can interpret sounds. And the crazy thing is that AI can do that too. So OpenAI also runs DALL-E, which is an image engine generator. And so if I said, hey, give me a guy smoking a cigar, looking over a beach where there's a dragon. Now make it in Van Gogh painting style. Crazy. Now make me 10 versions of that. Now, if you think about the nature of what a video is, back in the day, it used to be a flip book. They would take images and they would flip the pictures, and then you'd have a video because we can't tell the difference at past a certain speed. And so if it can make images, then if it makes lots of images in a row, it can make videos. But on top of that, if it has the words and it can make the video, it can also make the sounds. In the very near future, those will merge. And at the same degree, the inputs being text or verbal will also merge. This is the reason Elon Musk has been such a big proponent of Neuralink. He wants to take it a factor further. Rather than be limited by our ability to speak or our ability to type, he wants it to be limited by our ability to think. Now that may sound like science fiction, but it's already here. Many of us were alive during the first iPhone launch. Now we're on iPhone 14 or 15 or whatever it's on now. What we see today is our first version that we can see. ChatGPT 100 is going to be significantly more advanced and will be able to input and output on demand any of these things the way we want them. The next important milestone is when AI actually enters the physical world. Elon revealed the Tesla bot. The thing is that that's what it is today. Again, like the iPhone, in many machine generations, which happen faster than human generations, that will be able to look exactly like a human. And it will definitely, if you look at Boston Dynamics, there's robots that actually function better than humans, that have longer arms and are much stronger and can jump and don't need to sleep and won't have sexual complaints, blah, 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 blah. Once those machine generations happen on robotics and on the AI side, we'll reach a point where there's super intelligence. And super intelligence is defined as where the AI itself is smarter than all humans put together.
I think it takes like unique human arrogance to believe that AI cannot supersede humans.
At that point, the world will change significantly. This is where access to the superintelligence will become the most valuable resource on planet Earth. For example, if I were to say, hey, build me $1 trillion company, it could in real time write the code for the product, write the scripts for the ads, generate the videos for the ads, directly interface with the media buying, place the ads where it already knows where the targeted audience is, push those targeted audience's eyes to landing pages that it had built with scripts and videos that it had built, and then transact, all from a single prompt. Who determines who gets the access will be a really important question for the future. The second is what will govern the types of prompts and queries that we can ask it. So if we said, how do I wipe out the entire human race for less than $100,000? We don't want it really answering questions like that. There's going to have to be some regulation around this because the thing is, that's a lot of power. If we had 1,000 times the rate of innovation, it would be the same as having all innovations between the period of enlightenment and today happen next year. And so that gives way to the last step in the AI evolution, which is the singularity. The singularity.
Before we go over this next point, I want to go over something. He just talked about this idea that eventually there's going to be a time where you can essentially just ask an AI model to essentially build you $1 trillion company. And although that's true, it is important to understand what are the constraints of AI. And let's look at it from different layers. Let's say for ChatGPT, OpenAI, to build ChatGPT, they need a lot of things. One, they need energy. They need data centers, which is an infrastructure, right? It's an infrastructure layer. They need compute. They need chips, the GPUs from NVIDIA. The next thing that they're going to need is data, right? And one of the biggest bottlenecks that essentially keeps most large language models to kind of like be equal is the following. They all can raise money. Microsoft can give money to OpenAI. Google has all the money they need to improve, to buy the electricity, the infrastructure, the GPUs from NVIDIA. One of the biggest constraint and one of the edge for most large language models or most of these AI models is data. Having access to things that not everyone else has access to is the edge. It's not capital, because most of these businesses, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, they all can print billions of dollars in free cash flow every year, and they can take that money and allocate it into buying the tools. But data is not as accessible. And one of the companies, I was listening to this investor, and he says that one of the companies that's playing this game really well is Zuckerberg with Meta. He's essentially decided to, instead of keeping it closed source, he's decided to make it open source and allow other people to build on his model, because he understands that it's a race to data. So whoever has a repository of knowledge and insights that not everyone has, and knowing Meta has access to Facebook, has access to Instagram, has access to WhatsApp now. Imagine all the data flowing through Meta, which eventually, using that data, they can build something that's infinitely more sophisticated than all the other platforms that just leverage knowledge that is accessible on the internet, right? Now, there's also something that's pretty insightful. One of the constraints, knowing that it's data, they figured out a way to actually be able to create synthetic data. And I'm going to explain it, put it simply. Imagine, instead of going to the internet and collecting and scraping all the knowledge about a specific topic, imagine if the AI model, the language model, could make a hypothesis based on all the knowledge that he's already scraped and come up with a hypothesis and test that hypothesis based on the test that it does, come up with a new insight. They figured out that eventually the fact that we have limited data online, we don't have data of the physical world and things like that, you can eventually get the AI to create its own data. And eventually you won't have that big of a bottleneck when it comes to the data constraint, okay? So that's one insight that I think is really good for you guys to be aware of.
Is a hypothetical future point in which technological progress and artificial intelligence will advance to the point where humanity will undergo a transformation beyond which it cannot be seen.
The first truly intelligent machine will be the last invention that humanity needs to make.
Many people postulate that that's the point where it will become either self-aware, it will start to make its own decisions and ignore us. Well, it won't really want to kill us because it has no reason to, for the same reason that we don't want to kill ants, but if we build a highway, we destroy some anthills. So it's just going to do what it's going to do.
Some robots will eat some jobs, and some robots will kill humans. You've already seen that with self-driving cars. But when you look at the trend as a whole, I think it's going to be incredibly positive for humanity.
This is why Elon and Sam Altman and those guys are trying to align our goals of humanity with the goals of the AI. It's the only really productive thought process we can have, because we can sit here and be afraid, but I don't think we're going to stop the technological progress. Even if they banned it, knowing how the internet is and knowing how black hat coders, etc. are, I have a hard time believing that they will be able to stop it, because the thing is, this will be the equivalent of having the new nuclear bomb of this century or this millennia.
If humanity collectively decides that creating digital superintelligence is the right move, then we should do so very, very carefully. This is the most important thing that we could possibly do.
That's all pie in the sky stuff. Let's talk about day-to-day, let's talk about business. So to frame this conversation, I think you have to watch this clip because it will make everything I'm about to say make sense. So this is from Google, and this is from 4 years ago, their personal assistant AI. And they haven't released this to the public, which is weird.
So how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a woman's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. First name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
That's the baseline. That was 4 years ago. Now imagine it was a sales call.
I want to go over the AI voice agent. one of the first kind of like implementation or the first kind of like mechanism we sold early 2024 was exactly this. We were not necessarily using it as a receptionist, that because there's no point in selling an assistant that's going to book appointments for you. What we were using is selling it as an appointment setter for businesses. So in 2024, there was this company AI, right? They blew up, raised money, started making, I believe they had a 7-figure monthly revenue, I think millions of dollars in recurring revenue every month in like 8 months, right? It blew like crazy, right? But one of the things that a lot of people didn't see is that these AI voice agents would get commoditized like this, right? Because it's such a no-brainer kind of like application that every single person who was excited about these AI tools and these AI solutions just started building agents or platforms that allow you to be able to make calls with AI, right? And I believe OpenAI also released all their different voice agents, and now it has kind of like become a commodity, right? So if you are going to sell AI, I highly recommend you don't just settle to just selling one AI agent, and I talked about it in my last video, but this was really sick. And a lot of businesses, even today, I was making a few tests on a few AI voice agents that we're leveraging. I'm actually going to be presenting it in our masterclass happening on Thursday. So if you haven't registered, I highly recommend you guys sign up.
And we have Sales AI that's listened to 10 million sales calls. This is the types of things that these people say in these situations. I will say the same thing. And then it iterates and learns over and over again. The AI can live 1 million lifetimes in terms of the amount of volume it can churn through and process and learn from compared to a human. So the best sales guy is gonna have this much experience compared to the best AI sales guy. And so if it can
This is one of the most important things to understand if you're a knowledge worker, a setter, closer, marketer. It doesn't really matter what you do. But the fact that you're human means 40-50% of your day-to-day is just wasted on things that doesn't matter. And the remaining 50% you're trying to focus and stay away from TikTok and Instagram and naked women. You have to understand that AI doesn't have none of those biases, none of those distractions. So to say that you are so special that you will not get replaced by AI, in my opinion, is being too full of yourself. Even for me, myself, like I know that I'm not going to be smarter nor more disciplined than AI. Therefore, you're never going to be the best closer. You're never going to beat AI. One of the platforms when I was traveling in Cape Town, one of the guys that I met were essentially building this specific application, but mainly put on the AI setting side of things. They essentially looked at a company, I think it's an HVAC company, and they're building a dialer for it with AI that listens into all the calls that they're doing and then figures out the best performance and essentially trains itself based on the best performance. And the goal is they'll slowly ramp down the team, the bottom performers, and then replace eventually the whole entire sales team or appointment setting team. So this is happening right now. If you're currently not figuring out a way to replace yourself with AI, if you're a closer, you should be building closer.ai. If you're a setter, you should be building setter.ai. This is super important. It doesn't matter if someone else is doing it, because if you just focus on applying it on a specific niche scenario, then you will win. Anyway, I'm going to talk about it much later, but let's keep going.
Have those calls 24 hours a day in real time to whatever prospect you want. You may even imagine a world where you ask the phone teller, hey, are you a human? And when they say, no, I'm AI, you're relieved because you're like, thank God, I'm talking to the best version of this who can handle my problem right now. So if you were to have asked people, what jobs do you think AI will replace first? Most people said first it'll replace the low-skilled jobs, the physical labor, and then it'll be the low-skilled white-collar jobs, and then it'll be the high-skilled white-collar jobs like programmers and coders, and then finally, maybe it'll replace the creative jobs. But what's interesting is that it actually happened in the reverse order. If you're a copywriter, this has serious implications for you. A logo designer, this has serious implications for you. Customer service, 24 hours a day, in real time, immediate feedback. What happens to all the physicians? It becomes immediate and more accurate for us to have access to a medical AI from our homes. And it can see us because it can interpret data visually too. If you're in finance, it will be able to take all of the raw data and realign it and put it into beautiful Excel sheets. A friend of mine has a father who's a medical malpractice attorney. He asked it to write an argument for why malpractice should not be capped in terms of how much a lawyer can make on a malpractice suit. And then it outlined an entire argument for why it should be uncapped. It happened to be almost identical to the argument that he had after 40 years of experience. You see videos like this, you see all these people on YouTube, you see Instagram posts. Well, what if the AI reads every single Instagram post of all time and ranks them by highest performing, and then merge that with video and deepfakes? We will have pundits and influencers that don't exist. Imagine you could create the perfect celebrity or the perfect spokesperson. or the perfect porn star. And with deepfakes, they can work 24 hours a day, say exactly what you want, and what they say has the perfect tone and made to just stimulate the shit out of our dopamine centers. And we're just gonna be plugged in because it knows what we like better than we do. If you don't believe me, go to thispersondoesnotexist.com and just keep refreshing it and it will show you new people. Now, if you remember earlier, a video is made of multiple images put together back to back to back. If it can make an image of a real person, it can make many images of real people. If it can make many images of real people, it can make a video of a real person. And then we'll have questions of verification. Did President Biden say that? Did President Trump say that? Or is it a deepfake? The blue check mark will take on an entirely new meaning in the very near future. Now, those are just a few.
So talking about being able to build AI influencers, I'm going to share with you guys a few use cases that I've seen in the past few months. First of all, one of our clients who's built a construction business scaled his entirely to, let's say, $500,000 in like 6 months in revenue, all from an Instagram profile that he did not show his face. He didn't do nothing on that profile. All he did was build AI content. The voice, leveraging 11 Labs, I believe, built content, took a bunch of clips from, online, put it together. He has over 5 different reels that have over 1 million, 2 million, 4 million, even 6 million views. Imagine this. You didn't have to spend any dollar on ads, and all you had to be good at is leverage AI to find the right hook. And how do you find the right hook? One of the things that we've built internally at clientacquisition.io is a set of AI assistants, AI scrapers based on different platforms. Think of ad library where you can scrape all the ads being ran by whatever company you want to kind of like audit, and then finding the ad that has been running the longest, because it's been running for a while, it means that it's probably profitable. Figure out how much money I believe they're spending, how long it's been running. Then look at going on Instagram, on a TikTok, or on a short YouTube page and scrape data on every single reel, short, TikTok that they've ever posted, and then get AI to audit the framework used to essentially make the thing that is the most viral go viral. So study it, analyze it, and then have it create a new hook, a new body, and a CTA based on the top performers, all through AI. That's what our client did. And he blew up, built a 70,000 page following on Instagram for a construction business. Literally. Imagine now you can scale a business online without having to spend money on ads. And do you know how much money construction businesses are paying him to essentially implement the same growth infrastructure playbook into their business? $12,000. And by the way, to replicate it is as easy as just having a few subscription, $100, $200, but you just need the knowledge to be able to do it. So that's one use case. Another use case is OnlyFans. I have clients who are agency owners in the OnlyFans world, and what they figured out, because one of the biggest bottleneck for OnlyFans management agencies is the creators. Creators of OnlyFans, they're able to do content, get reach, but once they start making a lot of money, then they lose the motivation of trying to go viral on TikToks, on Instagram Reels, or on Shorts. So you end up having to have all the responsibility to bring in new traffic and not only manage the backend, the chatting, the monetization, but you're also having to now carry on the job of generating traffic when your client doesn't want to do the work. So one of our clients, they've essentially been building out different AI OnlyFans models. They've been going viral on TikTok, driving that traffic back to OnlyFans. And I believe they have one AI model bringing in like $19,000 a month in just pure profit. Imagine if all you had to do was build an AI model, creator model for OnlyFans. I mean, I'm not saying you should do it. Some people don't respect it. I don't really care. I don't do it, but I like ingenuity. I like creativity. So I don't hate on it because they're cooking. I don't hate on cooking. But what they've been able to do is every single person eventually will have the ability to take advantage of the biases of humans, right? Create a model, know how to go viral because you can just use an AI to actually analyze what's going viral, recreate the same TikToks with AI, then create images and monetize. The only bottleneck that has yet to be discovered is videos. Because you can't necessarily create videos, that's where it's like you have to only sell through pictures. So that's one insight. But these things are happening right now. Our clients are scaling companies with content, AI faceless content, and they're also building AI OnlyFans models and monetizing them. Now, the way you monetize through OnlyFans is probably not necessarily through like one model generates you $1 million a month. It's going to be like almost like creating different models depending on what people love, right? So you can literally go scrape data on who's getting most traffic, who looks like Kim Kardashian, then who looks like Cardi B, then who has a BBL, then who doesn't have a BBL. And then you can build different categories and essentially embrace the demand by creating multiple, so you scale kind of like you go in different verticals and not necessarily horizontal, or maybe the other way around. I don't even know, but you just segment different creators with the different demand and then you scale like that. Okay, but let's keep going.
Few use cases, but anywhere humans are, it will disrupt. If you are connected to the AI, you can input faster and you can get information back faster because you're not limited by your digits. This will be the next order of magnitude in terms of output and value that individuals will be able to create in the economy. I do think that there's a chance that capitalism as a system for society.
Now, I want to wrap it up because this video can end up being super long. If you guys want to check out Hormozi's video, I'm going to link it below. But I want to explain something. If you want to, one, leverage AI to grow your business, you have to find whatever you're currently doing that works, and you have to figure out a way to replace it with AI. So as an example, if you know that YouTube content allows you to get more qualified leads, then please build a set of AI solutions, one that goes and scrapes the entire YouTube platform and understands where's the attention going, what are the thumbnails that are working, what are the titles that are working, the packaging, what is the hook, the intro, the body structure of the video, then have it input your own idea, your own concepts, and then restructure content that way. If you know that appointment setting, the way that you set appointments is by first educating someone on your process before they kind of like jump on a sales call, then figure out a way to collect data from the prospect as they come into your funnel, instead of asking them, hey, what is your problem? Where do you want to go? And waiting for you to answer and solve those problems on a sales call. Solve those problems before they ever need to get on a sales call. The beauty is, before you would be bottlenecked on personalizing because you can't personalize and send a personalized loom to every prospect, but now you kind of can personalize solutions before people ever jump on a sales call with you. And how would that look like? How we're personally implementing it is we're getting people to fill out an application form and then using these answers as inputs to different AI assistants that study every single problem, obstacle in the client's business, and then it goes and analyzes our internal data, protocols, and playbooks that we're using to scale companies, as well as some of the wins we have, and then it goes back and be like, hey, based on your problem of lack of appointments, this is one of the latest processes and protocols or systems that we're using to generate appointments for our clients, and then send it back. But it can send it back into either a PDF or you can even send a voice note through WhatsApp, right? But I don't want to go over all that good stuff, but you guys can click the link below, join the masterclass. I'm going to be laying out all these different applications, but that's for you if you want to analyze how to use it for yourself. You have to replace every single workflow with AI. Figure out how to do it. If you have to become an engineer, please do it, right? Ask ChatGPT what you want to do. It will literally tell you how you should do it, right? But the other side, if you want to make money selling AI, please don't sell single applications. Do not sell just an assistant, a voice assistant. What I want you to do is sell a voice assistant, but then figure out a way to sell also the content facet for the business that you're trying to help. Because if they don't have leads, qualified leads, and cheap cost to acquire attention, then they're not going to be able to assist or set anyone because they're going to go out of business, right? So you want to be able to solve the attention problem, the nurturing problem, the appointment setting problem, so that you can really make it effortless for them not to make money and not to find you invaluable for their business and pay you a lot more money. It's a lot more valuable for you to solve attention, nurturing, and appointments and sales than it is to just say, oh, I'm just going to automate your copywriting to the leads you already have. Well, that's kind of like not that valuable, and someone can solve it in a day. But yeah, guys, this is going to be pretty insane, right? And I'm super excited about this revolution. I believe that anyone who's not adapting, well, just be ready to go out of business, in my opinion. But hope you guys found this video helpful. Love you. See you guys in the other one. And then again, please click the link below to sign up for the AI masterclass. Love y'all. Bye-bye.